Hi, everybody. We are back for another episode of What Givz here. Today we have the amazing Chris Meade, who invented a game, straight up invented a game called CROSSNET. And if you haven't seen it yet, you're going to start getting targeted for ads ASAP because you need to buy this thing immediately. I will tell you a little bit more about how I got introduced to CROSSNET, as well as really the bulk of this conversation we'll hear from Chris as to how he came up with it, what strategies are working, how he grew it. We're really honored to have on. Thank you, Chris.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys. Love what you guys have been doing. I know we started working together a few weeks, maybe a month ago. So it's been going well. So thanks so much for giving me the time. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So the quick Givz plug quickly on our side. So we are sitting at the nexus between brands that want to, one, move away from discounts, and two, weave in social impact in a genuine and authentic manner. Givz sits right at the nexus there, allowing brands to run something like, hey, spend $100 on the site, get $10 to give to the charity of your choice. And it's amazingly effective, and it ends up getting a lot of money to great causes that your customers care about. So you're bringing your customers into your give back mission. We're really passionate about this. If you ever want to talk to either Nicole or I about it, please just DM us. We are here to chat. With that, CROSSNET, really excited to chat here. Chris, I had been, your targeting algorithm was good because I had been getting targeted with CROSSNET ads, and I'm like perfect candidate for it. And so as soon as Nicole mentioned that she was talking to you, and then we signed up, CROSSNET as a client, I was actually able to play my first bunch of games of CROSSNET in Puerto Rico, where somebody was already setting up the net. I was like, whoa, we just signed up last week. This is awesome. And the only thing that would make this story complete is if I won all the games of CROSSNET I played. But I did not. I lost every single one. I was playing doubles CROSSNET, so
yeah,
just
challenging.
Yeah, but
so
it was
really their fault.
Yeah, really their fault. I didn't win a single game, but so I need some pointers. But it was really, really freaking fun, and I would love to understand, how did you come up with this? I mean, for those that don't know, volleyball meets Foursquare, and like, how did you play a lot of Foursquare growing up? Did you play a lot of volleyball? How did this come about?
Yeah, no, I never played volleyball a day in my life, actually.
No.
Yeah, never. I played a lot of Foursquare, though, I guess when I was like 8. And one night we were home, me and my buddies, my brother and our childhood friend were kicking on the couch. We were all pretty miserable in life, like either graduating, had just dropped out of college, or working sales job that we all hated. And we just wrote down a bunch of ideas, right? It's like one of those like, oh, what can we make up kind of nights? And we wrote down 4-way volleyball. And we assumed it had been taken, right? We assumed somebody was like already manufacturing it. It was a sport. We just never saw it because we didn't play volleyball. And nobody did. And at that point, it was just like, too good to be true. We like woke up the next day. We went to Walmart, bought 2 like badminton nets, cut out the center, rigged up a prototype, and we had a proof of concept within like 24 hours.
That's awesome.
That's wild. And so was it 4 of you or 3 of you?
3 of us. Yeah, we needed one more. I think I had my ex-girlfriend come over at the time we played. And
was she your ex at the time, or your ex?
No, future ex. So,
okay.
So yeah, no, I wasn't that desperate. So we had a bunch of friends come over, and it was just one of those things. Like, we were just having fun. We made up rules on the spot. Didn't check our phones for 2 hours. Felt like we were kids again, and we were all 23 and mid-20s crisis mode, and like we're just all depressed and sad. And we're like, this is mad fun. And we figured, if we would play it, like, why wouldn't every kid in America go play this game? So now we're off to the races.
That's really cool. Amazing success story too. So talk us through the idea of, like, from starting this thing, you bootstrap yourself. How did this all work from the business side of things?
Yeah, it's a headache. So we started it, bootstrapped it all. We took out our 401ks, all of our bank account. We pooled together like $25,000, I'd say. Got our first purchase order, moved to Miami. We literally slung the volleyball nets out of our car every day. And eventually what would happen, right? Like, you're in Manhattan, right? I remember. But obviously you're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
playing CrossNet in Manhattan unless there's a park. But what happened was we'd go to the beach and we'd meet people, we'd sell them a net, and then they'd take it back to their hometown. And then all of a sudden we'd start getting orders from like
Yes.
Greenpoint, right? And like I've never been to Greenpoint before, like hypothetically. And so how did CrossNet get to Greenpoint? Oh shit, he's out there playing CrossNet.
Yeah.
And so as more nets got out into the world, this kind of like viral effect happened. Because it's one thing to have, I don't know, I have stuff in my hand right here. Like this cup will never see the light of day outside of my bedroom, right? Or my guests that are in my house. CrossNet's a billboard. So with that, the more people I could actually get outside to go play, there's a beautiful park in front of me. Like if I had a CrossNet set up out there, I'd be getting 100,000 impressions by the end of the week in Miami. So like, let's get CrossNet set up as many places as possible, and it'll grow as fast as possible. So now we're flash forward 5 years, over 3,500 retail stores, 8 figures in revenue, still completely bootstrapped. The original founders own 100% of the business. And we just launched in Australia, have a warehouse in Canada, and also Europe.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love that you just like, we talked about this before, you just like moved to Miami. Like that's where we need to go.
Yeah.
Burning the ships. We're doing this.
It was October. And it was starting to get freezing cold in Connecticut, and not a good volleyball market. So we'd never been to California at that point, and didn't want to leave my mom. So we figured East Coast would be better for a quick visit.
Unreal. Absolutely.
Super cool. And I guess piggybacking on that, right, as far as bootstrapping it and learning it along the way, not even playing volleyball before to straight out hustle. Obviously, you learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
Okay, so that really tees up. Congrats on your new podcast launch.
I appreciate it.
So excited. I loved your first episode too with Chase. I was like, legends. I think that was so good. Such a fun way to start. And but yeah, I would love to hear just your concept behind why you named it. I think it's my biggest lessons, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking to founders about something that's really hard to talk about, right?
Yeah.
But we know is the most important thing to growth. You have to fail. Like you have to learn how to fail and get back up fast, right? So I'd love to hear your thoughts around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's so much conception about people like studying and building business plans and like taking 5 years to go to market, right? Like that's all great and good, but you just got to do, right? Like you're going to stub your toe. There's no business that somebody hasn't like failed at or like didn't stub their toe or had a huge learning lesson. So what I'm doing is I'm interviewing like the top of the top like founders in e-commerce, and got a massive star on for next week, which I'm pumped about. But no, there's just so many mistakes out there. And when I started off, I was just a kid from a farm town I didn't even know what venture capital was, right? Like we had one restaurant, one stoplight. Like there's no VC money pouring into the market. There's no Shopify. Nobody knows what the hell Shopify is. So like there's so many entrepreneurs out there that need help that just don't have the network that I'm very lucky to have today back in 2017. So like if I could give that advice out for free, I feel like a lot of good karma will come back my way, and it continues to do that every day. So it's been cool.
Yeah, giving back does give back, doesn't it? It's funny how that works.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, biggest things like I've learned as well is just like cash flow management, like overspending on ads. So many people just like think, oh, I'm gonna start an e-commerce business tomorrow and run Facebook ads, and like that doesn't work today. It might have worked like 5 years ago. That doesn't work anymore. So like, what do you do to like grow your brand if you are bootstrapped? It's cool if you have venture capital money and you have hundreds of thousands of dollars to pitch away and try on different things and figure out what eventually works. But if you have $6,000 in your bank account, which is actually a lot, if you have $2,000 in your bank account and you want to start a business, what do you do? Like that's the type of entrepreneurs that I want to talk to, because those are the people that like really want to get out of their shitty job, start a new life for themselves, but they just feel so damn trapped. And I don't want them to get to 75 and be like, damn, I wish I could have done this.
Yeah. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to follow your journey on that podcast and see what comes out of that. That's really cool. And
Appreciate
you
it.
know, back to the giving back gives back. I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into how we're working together
Yeah.
and the foundation that you're featuring, which is so cool. And we're just really excited. We're just starting, so would love to hear your thoughts initially as we've integrated, and then you know, thoughts for the future as well.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people, there's a common theme going around that you need to have like a charitable component to your business to like be successful these days. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think business can stand alone without the charitable aspect of it. However, for me personally, I lost my dad when I was 19, and TBD if it was suicide or not, but my fiance lost her best friend to suicide. And so there's a fund that was very important to her called Jordan Porco Fund, which is her best friend. That we could not find how to contribute to this damn fund. It was so hard with Shopify. There's no apps out there. And Nicole, me and you talked, and you're like, yeah, we could do that for you. So it made a lot of sense. And then I wasn't even thinking about it like, yeah, you could round up a penny on your order or 25 cents, but like, what does that really help? Like, that doesn't really help anybody unless you're doing like Kim Kardashian numbers, right? Where those pennies might add up. But for us, like, maybe it's $5 a day. So being able to like motivate customers to place a larger order and then giving a portion of that order instead of discounting is kind of a win-win, right? Like, I make more money, which is why I wake up every day. The foundation makes money, which is more money than they were going to make off a roundup. So it was just kind of like a perfect balance. So excited for summer to come when we start getting traffic and see what actually happens. So yeah.
It's starting to warm up here. So I think everyone's ready to get out and start playing. I know we are here.
I'm excited. Yeah, that's another big challenge that we've learned is like a seasonal business, right? Like as an owner, you want to wake up and every day be your best revenue day ever. But like you can't do that in January and February with a beach game. And it's like, what do you do? How do you prepare your team? How do you manage your annual expenses like teammates and overhead when you're not making money in those shitty cold months? So that's been like a really fun challenge as the business has grown, because you don't shut down, you don't fire your team for 6 months of the year. It's like, how do you plan? How do you make summer the best possible? And I'm really excited for all those plans to kind of work in the spring. And we're just a few weeks away, which I'm excited about. We got CROSSNET for soccer launching in like 2 weeks.
I saw that on, I think that's going to be amazing.
We're excited for that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how do you, like, what does the product innovation look like? Is it like, hey, like, let's just go shut off our phones for, 4 hours and play some CROSSNET, play other things, like trying to come up with other interesting games?
Honestly, it's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of me waking up to DMs from like my brother and my partner of like World Star Hip Hop, like games that are made with like paper cups or things. And we're like, oh, we could actually make that a real game. So yeah, innovation comes from everywhere. Definitely some cool news coming out with new products in a few months. That will be big public news, which I'm really excited about. The next iteration of CROSSNET.
Yeah. Wait, that's exciting. Well, we're about coming up on our time, so I'm going to drop one more question for you, which I love to ask with founders who have a lot on their plates, have a lot of different roles, work and outside of work, right? Just life. And what would you say is your biggest productivity hack to stay high performance?
I gotta have my matcha every day. That's a given. Calendaring is really good. And I think just making time for yourself, right? If there's something that you need to get done, like I know today I got to go to the bank by 4 o'clock, but more importantly, I need to work out every day. Like I just need to sweat, because if not, I'm depressed. So I make time every morning, 8 or 9 a.m. I'm working out. And then I don't feel like regretful the rest of the day, or like, when am I going to get this workout in? When can I do this? Start my day here, and then do all the things I need to do and make time for myself. And then I think also the biggest thing is trying to put my phone away, or at least my laptop away after 5 o'clock. Obviously, there's days where you need to work. Like you're an entrepreneur, like you're always working. Your mind's never going to shut off. But if I can shut my laptop down at 5 o'clock and get out and like enjoy time with my family and friends, it makes the next day better. And
you're like ready to go, right?
Yeah, and I work, boom, boom, I'm done. shut it off, and we'll get to it the next day. Because like for your mental health, like you can't. There's going to be days where you grind and you have so much fun. You're up to midnight, like on your new business, but that's not sustainable forever. Setting up that calendar has been really helpful.
I love it. That's great advice. And I think a lot of times when you're a founder carrying out those tips, and you're creating a culture too that actually flows through your organization. So I think that can create a good balance for your team too.
Easier said 5 years into business. What we're doing now. In the early days, we were grinding to 2 a.m, but now where I'm at, it's, take some time for yourself.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody who's watching the replay after this, go ahead and follow Chris Meade at Chris Meade J on Twitter. Not a more inspiring story out there, in my opinion. I think, somebody who really has taken a passion of his, albeit foursquare from when he was 8, as opposed to volleyball, which he never played, but made a passion out of playing outside, having fun, making mental health a priority, as you just heard on the productivity hack as well. Check him out on Twitter. And if you haven't played CROSSNET, figure out a way to play CROSSNET, and then go place an order over $100 and get $10 to give to any charity that you want, because that's the way to do it. So really excited. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming on here. I'm excited to listen to all the podcast episodes that you are creating and helping inspire the new generation of entrepreneurs. Amazing person, amazing time. Thank you, Chris. And talk soon.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Bye.